now, you will get a copy of this emailed to you. It will also be posted on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page later this afternoon. This is also an interactive webinar. So for all of you that thought you were just going to come and watch and not have to ask questions or interact, it is much easier if you interact. And so please feel free to ask questions or add comments at any time in that chat box, question box located on the left-hand side of the screen. So today we're going to be talking about using your blog to increase your search engine optimization. And the first question I want to ask you all is, do you know what SEO is? And again, this is interactive, so I highly encourage all of you to go in there and vote. It really helps me know what the knowledge base in the room is today and make sure that I'm not wasting people's time talking about things that you already know. So it looks like about half of you don't know what it is. So I'm just going to take a quick moment to talk about search engine optimization. And Google now has more information. There's more information on the internet available than any of us can consume in a lifetime. And so what does that mean for you? It means that as you're creating your website and as you're creating your and managing your online persona of who you are as a real estate agent, you need to be able to optimize it so that Google and Yahoo and Bing can figure out who you are quickly and you can rank higher in search results. So your SEO stands for search engine optimization, and that is how fast and how much information can Google contain about you or filter through about you to increase where you rank in those search engine results. Does that make sense to everyone? If that makes sense, if you can just type in that chat box, yes, that makes sense. So today we're going to talk about blogging and how you can use that blog to increase your search ranking. Awesome. So the next question I do want to ask y'all is, do you currently have a blog? Are you blogging currently? This is not how often you're blogging. This is, have you gone in? Do you know what to do? Have you actually done anything on a blog? So this is split as well. So the good news is today we're going to go through at the beginning a little bit about why you would blog. Then we're going to go through where in IQ you go to actually blog. So as we start to go through this using a blog to increase your search engine optimization, the first thing I wanted to talk about is writing posts that include main keywords. So we are all in the real estate industry. So when you're writing your posts for your blog, you should be including keywords for real estate. Things like listing my house for sale, things like what is my home worth, things like thinking about moving to your city area. It really is important to be including those keywords because blogging is how you're going to increase that search engine optimization, and those keywords are how the search engine is going to know that your content is valuable to the consumer. So when you're writing your post, it is important to include main keywords. If you don't know a lot about keywords, Google, it has a ton of information on this as well, and you can literally just type into Google more information about keywords in blogs, and thousands of pages of information will come up. The second thing that we're going to talk about is you need to be consistent. And this is true with anything you're doing in the industry, whether it is working on your farm, whether it is contacting your sphere of influence, whether it is hosting open houses, no matter what you're doing in the business, it is important that you're consistent, that you're publishing your posts on a regular basis. And what a regular basis is going to vary from person to person. Some people have enough to say that they could be posting every day. If you are new to the industry, you have enough time that you can write a 2-paragraph blog every day for the most part for the first 2 or 3 weeks. Learning about using the MLS. There's a lot of things about being in real estate that the consumer doesn't know that they don't know, and a blog is a great place to do that. Once your business gets going, it will be more difficult to maintain a daily schedule. And so posting at least once a week is really important so that your page stays fresh and the information stays up to date. That adds into your search engine optimization because search engines are out there looking for content that is consistently being updated. So they're running through and saying, okay, this page is updated on a regular basis. It's not updated once and then it's forgotten for 3 months and then it's updated again. They're posting on a consistent interval basis. The next thing we're going to talk about is include topics other than homes for sale. You can only talk about homes for sale for so long before you run out of things to say. Now, the best part about real estate is there is a ton of information and there are a ton of topics to talk about besides homes for sale. So if you're posting on your blog, hey, new listing, this home is for sale. Hey, new listing, this home is for sale. That is not unique content. And what search engines are looking for is content that is unique. So maybe one day you post a new listing, and the next week you post about staging a home, and the next week you post about the best investments to add value to your home, and the next week you post about the home buying process. So when I say include topics other than home sales, your topics should be real estate and lifestyle focused. However, it does not need to be only listings. As you're building your blog to help increase your traffic, social media is a great place to share it. It's also really nice to be able to include a call to action in your blog. Did you like this post? Please feel free to share it with friends. The more traffic you get, the more relevant those search engines see your results being, and the higher your search engine ranks. And a blog is a great place to connect with your audience. So a blog is a great place to actually connect with your audience and say, do you have questions? Can I help you with anything? Which one of these projects are you going to include? And this is a great place to actually connect with your audience so that they're engaging with you. The more engagement you have, it's likely the more shares you'll have. The more shares you'll have, the more Google sees your content as valid and valuable, and then you're increasing those rankings. So that is in a nutshell how blogging really keeps and increases your search engine optimization, and other search engines do a very similar pattern. We're going to dive into where do you go in IQ Office to actually create a blog. And then we're going to start talking about a little bit about how do you really compete with a Zillow for your search engine rankings and why that may or may not matter. So I'm going to just take a minute and share my screen with you. But before I do that, I want to make sure, does anyone have any questions so far about any of this information? We've talked about using keywords, sharing on social, being consistent, connecting with your customers, and talking about more than just new home for sale so far. If you're ready to jump in and see where you go to actually blog, just drop a comment in that chat box saying, we're ready to go. Or if you have a question, I would love to answer your questions. There is no such thing as a silly question. And sometimes when it gets into search engine, it gets a little bit hairy. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And we are going to talk about how to get to your blog. So when you log into your IQ office, you get a screen that looks like this screen. And everybody has a blog available to them as part of the system. You actually can just click on this marketing tab on the left-hand side of the screen. And then there's a section that says blogs here. And if you've created a blog, all your blogs will be listed underneath that blog. Or you can simply go to My Blogs and it will list them all. So you can have more than one blog as part of IQ Office. So you could have a home seller's blog, and you could have a home buyer's blog, and you could have a homeowner's blog. I don't have enough to talk about when it comes to things like that. So I just would recommend having one blog and putting all that content about home sales and home buying in one place, because I know you're all very busy people with your business as well. So to create a new blog, if you've never created your blog, you're going to click the plus new button in the upper right-hand corner. And that is going to bring up this wizard screen where you're going to include your blog title. When you're including your blog title, it is important to think about what people put in that search bar of Google. If you don't know what people put in the search bar of Google, you can actually just start typing it. So you might type homes selling in there, and look, you have home selling near me, home selling price in my neighborhood, home selling price by owner. You might type in home selling advice. And there's a whole bunch of things that come up. So Google is eager to tell you what people are searching for. You might type in homes real estate blogs. And you can actually just start to look through, and you could say, okay, here are some blogs that I should read. Are there anything in here? Is there anything in here that I would like to read or is a good idea? We're going to name this blog today, Real Estate Matters. And then we're going to go to the next section. If you want to have an administrator of your blog email, you would just select who that is. If there's none, you leave it as blank. Do you want to be notified when there is a new entry? Yes or no? This is really nice if you have a team. So if you have a team and you have other people allowed to post, you can actually say, I want to be notified when one of my team members posts. If not, you can leave that as blank. Do you want to be notified when there is a new comment? This should be yes, because if people are commenting on your blog, you should be commenting back. It is a really important thing to be able to interact with people online. It is not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. You want that to be active. Do you want users to have to log in? Yes or no? So do you want people to have to log in to leave comments on your blog? Yes or no? Do you want comments allowed? Yes or no? Do you want to include entries from your company blog? So if your company is doing a blog and you want to include those entries, all you have to do is mark yes on the blogs that you would like to include. If you don't want to, you just click no. This is awesome if you're only posting once every few weeks, because when a user goes to visit your blog, it will actually show more content than you've actually put up. Underneath that are the rights. So this is where you can actually add your team members if you have a team and give them the access to post on your blog. Once you've added all of this information, you click the Save button in the upper right-hand corner, and then you can click Close and it will show on your main screen. So again, to create a blog, we went to Marketing, we went to My Blogs, and then we clicked the plus new button in the upper right-hand corner. Now, all this has done is created a blog for you. So now you have a blog, but you don't have any entries. So you can actually go into the actions next to the blog, and then you're going to click on this entries section. When you do that, it's going to bring up all the entries that you have. To create your first entry, you're going to click on the green Create First Entry button here, or you can use the plus new button in the upper right-hand corner. And then you get a screen that looks like this. So here you can actually type in your title. So this may be something like, I'm going to say, getting your home ready to sell. You can add a subtitle, and that might be 3 things to keep in mind when selling your home. Now, as I type those 2 things, I want you to pay attention to the fact that this is a great place to start those keyword entry items. Getting your home ready to sell, 3 things to keep in mind when selling your home. Real estate is not a simple matter, and there is something called what is it called? It's called long chain keywords. And what a long chain keyword means is when someone is on Google, they don't just type homes for sale. Some of them do. And here you've got Realtor.com, you've got Zillow, you've got Trulia. So these are the 3 big dogs. And no matter how many of us try to actually compete with the big dogs, we never are going to compete unless you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. But this is not the only thing that people who are searching to buy or sell a home type into Google. Some of them type in, getting my home ready to sell. And this is called a long chain keyword because it's not just 2 or 3 words that you're putting into Google to expect results. So as you create content, you can actually start to compete by separating yourself from the place where Zillow, Realtor.com, and Trulia are king. Notice that HGTV is on here. There's a place called The Balance. There's a place called Lauren Grotman. So this is a blog, just a girl on her blog. And then it's Realtor.com. Zillow is not on this first results page. And that's how you compete, is you create content in a way that people are searching for. Once you're doing that, you can actually start to create a list. So you can say, moving is hard. And you just type all your content, keeping in mind what people are searching for. Moving is hard, getting your home ready to sell is even harder. What are the best things that you can do to make sure that your home is ready to invite someone in to give a value? This is also a great place to put information about the difference in getting a real estate agent's price opinion versus getting an automated value and how that works. There's a lot of content that you can think about that you have in your brain to type into this section. So typing something that says, moving is hard, why make it harder? Here are the 3 things you need to do to get ready to have your home valued. 1, don't trust the online value. This is how they come up with the online value. If you're in a non-disclosure state, this is why it's not accurate. This is the benefit of using a real estate agent. 2, declutter your house. We're always saying declutter. Nobody wants to see. There's just a lot of advice that you have. It's also a great option and time to connect to other blog posts. Now, as you're starting, that is a daunting thing. Because if I'm writing this blog post about 3 things to keep in mind, and I want to connect to an article that I wrote about decluttering, that means I have to actually write the article about decluttering. So when you're starting, don't overwhelm yourself. Start by just creating content. Here's the 3 things I would do. And then on those 3 things, is there an article that you could write about each one of those things? And if there is, then great. And for each one of those things, you can link back to that original article. The internal links that you have will keep the consumers on your page longer. Does that make sense to everybody? Awesome. So the longer people are on your page, the more search engines see that your page has valuable content, because search engines are computers. So they are measuring consumers' interaction, the time on your page, the validity of who clicked on your link from the search results. And that is how they're determining where you rank in those search results. So start to think about that. The longer they stay, the better it is. Where you're targeting the long tail keyword searches is where you can compete with the big dogs. So Michelle, I'm not a good writer either. That's a really good question. So Michelle asked, what if you're not a good writer? This does not need to be a Pulitzer Prize content writing contest. This can literally be a really good expression of who you are as a person and what you have to share with your clients. So Michelle, think about how you share information with your clients now. And if it's in a very casual voice, that's fine. If it's in a list, that's awesome. If you're intimidated by creating content and writing, start with a list format. What are 3 things to keep in mind when looking for a new house? 1, and keep in mind I'm in North Idaho, so some of these may or may not apply to your market. 1, garage size. Can you actually fit 2 cars in the garage and open all the doors at the same time? 2, layout. We live in an area where there's a lot of retired community coming here. So a 1-floor living situation is a much better purchase in the long run than a split entry home. 3, don't see more than 6 homes a day. You get confused easily. It's hard to keep them separated. And you want to make sure that you're able to compare and contrast the homes that you see. It does not need to be an elaborate description. It can be a list of, keep this in mind, and this is why. Keep this in mind, and this is why. Keep this in mind, and this is why. People love lists, especially in odd numbers. Top 3 things, top 5 things, and then it gets into like the top 10, top 20. I find that 20 is too long. People don't want to spend that much time, but the top 5 things, that's a manageable chunk of information for people to process. Does that make sense, Michelle? Does that help everybody out? So copy and pasting what you read on others, what others people's posts on their blog. I don't recommend doing that for a couple reasons. 1, all you're doing is increasing that other blog's search engine optimization when you're doing that. So when you're copy and pasting what another blog has said, all you're doing is increasing that original writer's information. Now, we live in a land where it's also very possible that there's so much information out there that no one has a list. I actually just keep a little notebook next to my computer, And I just start making lists as I think of them. And I carry it around with me anywhere I go. So I start to like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I use it not only for blog, but I also use it for going live on Facebook. So I have a little notebook. I write my little notes about like, hey, this is a good idea. This is something someone asked me. These are the questions that I'm getting asked. And then I go and I create the content around that. The other thing is, in the land of the internet, you cannot go wrong by trying and by starting. A lot of us are paralyzed by perfection. And so instead of just starting and jumping in, we wait and we wait and we wait until it's perfect. And then it never is perfect, so we never actually start. You are better off starting, putting some content out there, improving it, getting better over time, learning from your mistakes, than you are to not put anything out at all. If you don't put anything else out at all, you're not even starting to increase your search engine optimization or get your online or manage your online persona. You are only living in what you're doing. We live in the world of fast scroll. People are scrolling through information so quickly now that if they like it, that's great. They'll read it. If they don't, they'll see it and they'll move on. So don't worry about being perfect. Worry about getting some content out there that is valuable to your clients. And start by thinking about what questions you get asked and what was new to you this week. If you're not learning something new every week, you're in the wrong industry. Also, for those of you that are terrible spellers and don't have good grammar when you type, I don't. I'm bad at it. There's a site called Grammarly. This is Grammarly right here. And it's a free writing assistant. It checks your grammar. It checks your spelling. It checks it in blogs. It checks it in social media posts. And it is a great tool for you. Cool. So we're going to keep on going down this train because I do want to make sure that we get through all of this information. You're going to type all of your text here. So you can type moving is hard, and none of us like doing it. Here are my top 3 items. Get your home ready. And then you would list them. 1, 2, 3. You also can add photos. So if you want to insert a photo, you just click on this little upload image right here at the top. It's a little mountain. And you can upload your own images, and to do that, you just click add files, and you can scroll through. So I can scroll through and I can say, getting your home ready to sell. Maybe I'm going to use this image. To change the size, you click on it and you can actually shrink it so you don't have to worry about sizing the image before you go in. This was a huge image, clearly. And then if you want to insert a link, so if you've created content and you want to link through to something else, you might say 1, deep clean your kitchen. And you might hyperlink this photo for the 3 areas, for the 5 things buyers look for. Click the photo below. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about internal links. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Grammarly. So it actually corrects your grammar. To hyperlink a picture or a word, you click on it and then you click the link here. So you can actually link through to another page of yours. If you are fluent in HTML code, or you're writing it in another program that lets you do that, you can actually copy and paste the source code here. So again, you can type the source code here. If you're someone who's better on video and all you want to do is embed your video into your blog, you can do that as well. You have to upload your video to different channels. So you can do that at YouTube or Vimeo or any of those. And then to share those photos, let's see. I'm just going to click pause on this. You actually can go in and you click the share button. And there is a button called embed. And then all you do is copy that text, go to your site, click on the code, paste it in, and it's actually going to paste that video into your blog. So again, I went to the video, I went to share, I clicked on embed, I copied all the tags, copy, I clicked in the HTML code, and I pasted it. Now it's going to be there twice. So if you would rather do it in video style, you can do it in video style. If you would rather do it in typing, typing the list out, you can do it typing. Honestly, I would probably do it both ways if I was comfortable with it. So if you're comfortable doing a 3 list, here's my list of 3. For more information, watch my video below. That's awesome because you can give people a quick 3-item list that they can see. And then you could do like a minute to a minute 30 video about why buyers are looking for those things or why it's important for sellers to get a price opinion from a real estate agent and not trust Zillow. This is a really, really good way to do that. So once you've added all your content here, you're going to choose your status. Is it active or inactive? Do you want it to expire? So you can say, hey, in 2 years, I want this to expire. Or in 1 year, I want it to expire. That way you don't have to go back and worry about a 2018 market report showing if you want it to expire at the end of 2018. You also can choose your post date. So when we're talking about scheduling your time, I know you're all very busy. I encourage all of you to time block. You could be blocking out a time on perhaps Tuesdays because Mondays you're usually catching up from the weekend and Fridays you're gearing up for the weekend. So I would choose a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, whichever day your office meeting does not fall on. And I would say I'm going to spend an hour getting my blogs ready for the week. Then you can choose the date. So I can say, hey, I want this to actually be posted on Friday. I want comments. I can add categories. So you can add categories that your company has added or that you've used before, or you can type in a new category. So we can say we did tips for buyers and sellers, selling your home. You could add your city name. You could add home improvements. And again, all I'm doing is clicking that plus button, but these act like tags so that when people are on your blog, they can actually say, hey, I want to see all the articles under home improvements, and it would list all of your articles there. This is your card catalog for your blog. And then dragging a featured image. Video killed the radio star. And so you need to make sure that you have an image with your blog. You can click here to add an image, and it's going to upload from your computer. So you can choose the image that you would like to highlight. There's been some studies done actually that say that personal imagery gets higher results than maybe something that is really industry specific. So take that as you will. So you may have something about selling your home and maybe it's a picture of your family in front of your home. It's a really easy way to share a little bit about who you are, or share a picture of your sellers in front of your home. You can edit it, so you can change it or you can delete it. Again, I just dragged the image here. I selected the image. I clicked open and inserted that image here. Put a picture of a house for sale. If you're looking for stock photos, there's a ton of sites out there with stock photos. iStock Photos is one. There's also a software called Canva, for those of you who have not heard of it. And Canva is an online design shop where you can actually create a post. So you could say, hey, I need to create a blog graphic. And it has stock information for you to use. You can change, and it has stock photos in here. You can purchase photos or you can drop photos. So I could say, hey, I want this photo, but I only want to see free. And that's a tool for you to use as well. Once you've made all your changes, you click save. And then you click close and you can see all your entries. You can see when they're going to be posted and the status. You can always go back and edit. You can also go back in and delete. So all of this we did by going to marketing, my blogs. Opening up the blog is where you would edit all the information. You can get to the entries by clicking entries here or by going to the quick actions and going to entries here. To add new entries, you click on the plus button in the upper right-hand corner. And this is where you can also see things like subscribers. And if there's settings, all the settings of it, you also can delete it. So that's where all of that information is. We're about 30 minutes in. I know that's a lot of information for y'all. So I want to make sure that you don't have any questions. Where are you at? How can I help you? Does this all make sense? What information do you still need from me about blogs? So this is what I'm going to challenge you to do. And I know that those of you, and there's a lot of you that are my regulars on here now, I want you to do two things. One, I want you to get, I'll answer that question in a second, Michelle. I want you to get a notebook to carry around with you and write ideas down as you're going around and doing your job. What questions do you hear all the time? What's a piece of information that you heard at a convention or a class that really has helped you in your business? Have you read any good books about real estate and real estate investing? Have you seen any cool homes that had good design ideas? You're out in the field all the time. And it's really important to go and make sure that you're keeping your business relevant and you're sharing your information. 2, get out your calendars. It's calendar time. I want you to put at least 30 minutes on your calendar in the next 2 weeks to go in and work on your blog. So start slow. If you're nervous about it, start slow. Every other week, 30 minutes. If you're ready to dive in, I would say an hour a week is a manageable amount of time to do this. So once you've put it on your calendar, go ahead and type in that chat box that you're ready to go to the next step, because I'm going to talk about sharing it on your social media. Awesome. So a blog. A blog is different than an email. So you're not actually e-blasting this out. You're not saying, here's my article and I'm sending it to everyone. It actually just lives online. There are 2 things that I recommend doing. The first is sharing it on social media. And to share it on social media, you actually have to go into your blog. So I'm going to go into this agent's website. This is a demo account, and I don't always remember what that. So here is the website, and you can actually find your blog on here. I need to make sure that this is one that we've done. You just go /blog. This page doesn't have a blog with it, but this is the blog page. So you just hit /blog on your page. I'm going to have to activate it. And that's your page. Let's see. I know that I can go to, oh, here's a blog that's active. This is your blog page. So if you want to share a blog post, you actually can just click on it and you can copy and paste this link. So I'm going to hit Control C and then you can paste it in your Facebook here. It's going to give me a preview. So that's one way to do it. You also can go down here and you can share it by clicking on one of these links. So I can say, hey, I want to share this on my Facebook page. So those are the two ways you can share it on your Facebook page. You also can put in your email signature in IQ a link to your blog. So you can actually go to your name and go down to your profile, and about almost all the way at the bottom, there's an email signature. So you would type in your name, my phone number, my email address, and then you can type, check out my blog. And you can actually hyperlink this. So you just highlight it, you click the link button, and you type in the web address or you copy and paste it. And then you say new window. Okay, now this is hyperlinked. So anyone who's getting a message from you through IQ, it's automatically saying, hey, check out my blog. I like to follow on social media the 80-20 rule. So that means that 80% of what you're giving should be free, value-added content for your raving fans. So I'm going to provide 80% of my content for free. Here's the information. Here's what I think is best. Here's how you do it. This is what's great. And then 20% of the time, I'm going to ask them for information. So we talked about going in and sharing your blog on your Facebook. We talked about going into your profile and linking your blog to your email signature. Make sure that if you do anything, you click the save button in the upper right-hand corner. And that's how you get news out about your blog. You also can run paid advertisements. Right now, let's get your blogs up and running. Let's do some sharing on social media. Let's link your email signatures through, and then we will go into advertising at a later date, because there's no need to advertise if you don't have enough content for people to stay and browse. Any questions? So that's a lot of information. Again, you find it underneath your marketing and your blog. This is where you're starting. You're actually going to go in first. The first thing you're going to do is, what keywords do I think are important that need to be on my blog? If you don't know where to start, start with Google. Keywords for real estate. You'll get a whole list of them. Are there any questions? We've been talking now for about 43 minutes. I know that's a lot. It really does create a way for you to socially share something like this once a week. Make sure that you're going in, you're putting things on your calendar. It's really important, if you're not scheduling yourself time and holding yourself accountable to that calendar, you're never, ever going to go in and actually do any of this. I like that, Michelle. No questions yet. So when you start doing this and you have questions, I would highly encourage you to ask them on our Facebook page. We work really hard to make sure that we are answering your questions there 7 days a week. It's also a great place for other agents. If they know the answer, it's a collaborative workspace for us all to use. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you can actually join us here. This is our realistic user group. All you have to do is ask to join. We'll approve you. Absolutely. If you're looking for more video references on what's happening in YouTube, I actually have to switch accounts here quick. I've got too many accounts for this. So there's a YouTube channel. It's called Realistic Support. This is where you can go and you can actually look up information. You can look up starting guides, and all of our information, our webinars and things are posted here. The nice thing about YouTube is there's an actual search button, so you can search a channel. And then this webinar will be emailed out to all of you today. I will start rendering as soon as we're finished. It will also get posted on our Facebook and our YouTube channel so that you can go back and watch it and see more information. And I'll put the information, the 6 slides up with questions as well. But I do want to make sure that if you have any questions about where to go or where to click or what's happening, you get answers to those questions. I'm going to hang out for about a minute. However, if you have other things that you need to go do or you want to jump right into working on this, I would welcome you to do that. I'm going to hang out. I want to make sure you get as much information as you can. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I'm here for you, and then we'll get this all going, and it will render. It will be up probably by, I'm going to say, noon at the latest. Yeah, so main keywords, well, you missed the beginning. What you want to think about is, what are people putting into Google? You're welcome, Michelle. What are people putting into Google, and how are you relating? I'd really recommend going in and watching like the first 10 minutes of this, because we dove pretty deep into that. You're welcome. Awesome. I'm glad it was helpful.